Shabbat Shalom. I am here tonight to mount a defense of Rebecca. I think Rebecca gets a bad rap in this parsha, and I think it's not fair. Especially after last week's parsha, when she's the paragon of kindness and courage. If we remember, last week, Abraham, recognizing that he's nearing the end of his life, sends his trusty servant Eliezer to his homeland to find a wife for Isaac. Eliezer meets Rebecca, who immediately offers to draw water from the well, not only for Eliezer, but for his 10 camels. And this chesed, this loving and generous kindness to a stranger, is the quality and qualification to be Isaac's wife. Then, when presented by her family with the option to follow this unknown man, Eliezer, to another land to marry Isaac, a man she's never met, she decides she wants to go. There are those who see Rebecca as Abraham's spiritual heir, even more than Isaac. She makes a journey like Abraham's into the unknown. She receives a blessing like Abraham, that her descendants will be thousands of myriads. And in this week's parsha, she secures the continuity of the covenant, not only by giving birth to its bearer, Jacob, but by working to ensure that the covenant goes through him. And this is where her reputation takes a hit. Instead of being known as our primary example of chesed, she is often associated with adjectives like dishonest, conniving, manipulative. When Jacob becomes known for these same qualities, it is Rebecca, of course, who's blamed for teaching them to him. And we can understand why she's blamed for these things. When her husband Isaac is blind and old and bedbound and ready to give the birthright to their son Esau, Rebecca instructs Jacob to impersonate his brother and to lie to his father in order to receive it instead. I'm not going to try to defend these actions. I do not condone them or excuse them or recommend them. I would suggest that they have something to do with the relative lack of authority granted to women in the biblical family. But even so, she probably could have handled the situation in a more ethical manner. But I would like us to approach Rebecca's character with the benefit of the doubt and ask, why was she in this position in the first place? Why was Rebecca so certain that the birthright should go to Jacob? And why did she feel personally responsible for changing the outcome of what was happening around her? What made her know that she should act? A couple of chapters earlier, we find a possible answer. Rebecca is pregnant with twins. ויתרוצצו הבנים בקרבה, ותאמר, אם כן, למה זה אנוכי? ותלך לדרוש את אדוני. The children struggled in her womb, and she said, if so, why do I exist? And she went to seek out Adonai. What exactly is going on here? The question she asks, Lama, why? Ze, this, Anochi, I, or me. It could be, why me? It could be, what is this that's happening to me? Rashi thinks it means she's merely regretting choosing to be pregnant because it is so painful. Kumi thinks she's saying she'd rather die than go through so much pain. Sforno thinks she's blaming Isaac for getting her pregnant and her family for wanting her to be the mother of myriads. It is possible that her query is this mundane. But Ibn Ezra says that Rebecca went around and asked other women if they'd experienced anything like this before, and none had. So given that something abnormal was happening to her, she wanted to understand why. Ramban thinks that Rebecca is asking a metaphysical question. What is this unusual phenomenon? How do I make sense of what is happening to me? Is there something here I'm supposed to understand? Is there some purpose here that I have? Vatelech lidrosh et Adonai, and she went to inquire of, to seek out Adonai. And Ramban says, I have not discovered the word lidrosh in relationship to God except in the context of prayer. In other words, Rebecca, not understanding what was happening, not understanding what her role was in it, decided to pray. Rebecca is the first person in the Torah who asks God about the meaning of her life. When unsure how to understand the events happening around and within her, she seeks out God. How should I understand this? What do you need from me, God? What am I here to do? It was out of this encounter with God that Rebecca understood that Jacob was meant to receive the birthright. And when she saw that Isaac was doing the wrong thing, she knew she had to act. If it hadn't been for her prayer and for her action, the Jewish people wouldn't exist. Not only did she act decisively to found the Jewish people, she taught us about our lives now, about what to do when we're confused or afraid and we don't know what to do. Perhaps you saw the Times editorial piece today or the video this week of people who were detained by ICE and Border Patrol telling of the hell that they experienced in detention. The extreme cold, the lights on 24 hours a day, the rats, the food that made them sick, the mocking humiliation of the guards, that they weren't told of any charges or any reason that they were taken. Jemmy Jimena Rosa was returning from vacation with her husband and 2 children when she was taken from them in Boston Logan Airport. Imagine coming home from vacation and your mother is just taken, no explanation. She has been a legal permanent resident of the United States since she was 9 years old. She had committed no crime other than being found in possession of marijuana more than 20 years ago. According to the Migration Policy Institute, as of September, 71.5% of people held in detention had no criminal record at all, 71.5%. And of the rest, many had a minor infraction like driving with a broken taillight. Many are here legally. Add to that so many other things we could list. The president's indifference to the cold-blooded murder committed by a foreign leader, the blowing up of people at sea with no evidence of wrongdoing, 100 other actions, all of a kind, all about devaluing human life. Why are we not stopping everything to stop this government? Why are we going on with our lives? In 2016 and 2017, during the first Trump administration, 10,000 people organized here at CBE, establishing 40 different efforts to defend human dignity and the social safety net and our basic notions of shared humanity. Now, our federal government is being dismantled and reshaped. Our societal norms are being shattered. Our economy, our entire legal system, our very social contract are all threatened. It's almost as if, because it's so big and so total, we don't know what to do or how. For the most part, we've been speaking about this moment as if it is solely concerning our form of governance, as if what is at stake is only our democracy. Yes, we are losing our democracy. But what concerns us most is not one person, one vote. What concerns us most is not a system of checks and balances. What concerns us most is not the Bill of Rights. Of course, obviously these things concern us greatly. But the reason they concern us greatly is not a reason of politics or governance. It's because they represent something even more precious than that. They represent moral truth. The moral truth that every human being has equal and inherent dignity. Or in the Jewish language, that every human being is created in the image of God. That every human life is sacred, is the equivalent of an entire world. And therefore, what is hateful to us, we must not do to another. We, of all people, know what it means to keep silent when those bedrock principles are violated. When innocent people are brutalized and snatched by agents of our government with no due process, it's not just a legal violation. It is, but it's a violation of the soul, all of our souls. When capricious cruelty is celebrated by our government, it's not just a political crisis. It is, but it's a crisis of our souls. When the truth and justice are utterly erased by the people in charge, it's not just a societal catastrophe, it's a catastrophe of the soul. That knowing in us of right and wrong, that compass point in us about what is good and what is evil, that essence in us that is connected to and part of the oneness, To God who cares most and most of all for the widow and the orphan and the stranger, the vulnerable and the hungry and the terrified. God who stood against Pharaoh. Our souls are attuned to that God. And for those who are new here, I want to say something now that I say often, which is when you come across the word God, and when I say the word God, if that's an obstacle for you or something you don't feel connected to or relate to, translate it. It means that we're part of something so much bigger. It means that we look out at the mystery of existence, the universe, life, and time, and we stand in wonder and awe. It means that we know that there's so much we don't know. And prayer, for some of us, it means speaking to God. And for some of us, it means speaking into the unknown, or speaking to the oneness, or speaking to the vastness, or speaking to our own souls. No matter what you call it or how you understand it, our souls are desperate to be heard, to be listened to reach for guidance and comfort and help through prayer. And I humbly suggest to you that this is a time to pray. Here together, as we've just done and do, and also not here, at home, and when we're on our way, and when we wake up and when we lie down, and in our quiet moments throughout the day. Yes, prayers of gratitude for the incredible blessings of being alive and being sustained and getting to live another day. But also different kinds of prayers, prayers of sorrow and grief, prayers of fear and worry, prayers of accountability to our source and to our purpose, prayers for guidance, prayers for help, because we need help. Please, God, let me not be like those who watched and did nothing. Please, God, I don't know what to do. Please, God, let me not be silent. Please, God, I'm afraid. Give me courage. I am so grateful for my life. Please show me how to live through this time. I know that people are suffering all around me. I know that people are afraid and feel alone and don't have what they need. I want to do right. I want to be proud of how I've shown up, but it all feels so overwhelming and unstoppable. I don't know what I can do to make a difference. And I'm afraid that if I do anything, I'll just put myself in danger. Show me how, God, please. There are many prayers in our tradition that can serve our needs right now, mostly outside of the Shabbat liturgy. The weekday Amidah, for example, it contains a prayer about asking for discernment and wisdom, a prayer asking God to help us with our struggles and afflictions, a prayer for the oppressed and for freedom, a prayer that our judges and our leaders will govern justly, a prayer that governments of wickedness will be shattered and vanish from the earth, a prayer that truth and justice will flourish and we will be saved, a prayer that our voices will be heard. And you don't even need a Siddur to pray. In the noble tradition of Rabbi Nachman and so many others of our luminaries, you can simply pour out your heart in your own words. Like Rebecca, you can simply ask, Lama ze anochi? Give me guidance. Show me why I'm here. Show me how I'm needed. Show me who to be right now. When we pray, we will hear the voice of our souls and find our way to show up to this moment. Here at CBE, we have our Meet the Moment campaign. There are myriad opportunities in this community to show up with others. I believe that we're all here to rise to moments like this. I believe we're all here to be brave. I believe we're capable of embodying our highest ideals and most fundamental values, of being the people who say, no, not in my name, who say, you are not alone, I am with you, who say, hold my hand, we will get through this together. Prayer can help us find our way there. May each of us find our way.